everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of Dad's Rad Fords. We got something cool today. So you've heard me talk about Robbie several times. He's our paint and body MVP in our car clique. This is his 59 Edsel, and this thing is one of the raddest things in our little group. All right, so we're gonna get a little more in depth in this thing. 1959 Edsel, family owned since new. His great grandpa bought it brand new. Then this was his dad's first car. This was Robbie's first car. So they both drove him to high school. Fun fact also, his brother has a 59 convertible Edsel that their dad bought in the late 80s. So there's some Edsel people, and they is just the coolest looking car. Look at that front end. I mean, it is just, it's too weirdly cool not to love it. All right, so we're gonna pull this thing inside. I'll get Robbie to pull it inside for us. We'll get some sound clips on it because this thing sounds insane. It is the coolest sounding engine. It is 351 Cleveland powered. You've heard me rave about my old Cleveland and my boy Arnold, so this is my 351 Cleveland brother. It's the same, but this one is quite different from Arnold's little potato cammed up Cleveland. This is a real hot rod. So let's get it in here. Let's look under her skirt, see what she's got going on. All right, we got this hot rod pulled in the shop. I always love having it at the shop. It just looks so cool. It fits in so good around here. It's just a something nice to look at. I walk out the kitchen door out in the shop and I'm like, man, that thing's cool. I've had it in here like with all the cars loaded up. It just, yeah, I'm a dork, whatever. It looks cool. So 351 Cleveland power in the old Edsel. So this thing came originally with a 292. Robbie got it. He took possession of it in like 99, I believe he said. Shortly after that, snatched the 292 Y block out, stuffed a 390 in it. He had a hot rod. Well, let's fast forward. So Robbie owned it for a while, drove it through high school, had it for a long time. Well, he was ready to kind of revamp it, redo it, spruce it up a bit. Out goes the 390, and he's got these wild dreams to build this rowdy 351 Cleveland. I remember him, we were talking about it. Hey, wanting this Cleveland, he was stuck on it. So he got it. He had this thing assembled, and it is a very gnarly, we'll get with him in a minute on the spec, everything that's done to it, but it is a very gnarly Cleveland. It's got the Shelby valve covers. It's got a set of Sanderson headers. If you guys, any of you guys are old hot rod people, you know about the Sanderson headers. Those are a pretty piece. All the billet front accessory drive. It really is super awesome. I love the OG stamped hoses. I love those touches on these cars, but super clean. And let's show you one thing that you might not suspect about this car, and I actually had a blast doing to this car. Let's step inside here, check what's poking up through the floor. Yeah, the man's mission. So he put his Cleveland together and put a C4 behind it, 3-speed transmission, right? Well, when he's building the car, in the meantime, I built him a rear end for it. And he brings me these rear end parts, and I already know he's putting this rowdy Cleveland and a 3-speed transmission, and he brings me a spool and a 410 gear. And I'm like, brother, that's gonna be spicy. You sure? Well, sure enough, we got it all together. He got it all together, and it was spicy. The 410s, the big rowdy Cleveland. Quickly, he was like, you know what, I need some highway gear. So he got to talking, we got to talking. He's telling me like there's this company, makes all this stuff for the, so these cars are very similar, almost in fact, under their skin, the same as a late 50s Ford. So they make a hydraulic clutch setup for all those late 50s Ford stuff because obviously they're more popular than Edsel. Robbie's smart enough, he knows these Edsel good enough to know what will work off of these Fords, what works. So anyways, we got a kit. So now this thing has a G-Force T5, like a Fox body T5 setup, but it's a gnarly G-Force transmission, hydraulic clutch. The hydraulic clutch on this is all, the hydraulic clutch system made me want to put a hydraulic clutch in my Fox bodies. it was very, very cool. We did it here at the shop. We drove it over here one day. Robbie showed up one morning with this thing with the auto in it. By that night, the drive shaft was a little too short, but by that night, we were turning the rear tires with the 5-speed. So one day, manual swap, it was super easy, super straightforward. Yeah, this thing is really cool. I think it's always unsuspecting. I figured nobody would ever suspect. You see this big car, whoa, big built Cleveland. The way it sounds, you heard the way it sounds. And then you look in there and it's got a 5-speed. I would expect like some 3-speed on the column or something like that. Nope, it's sick. It is, to me, that made the cool factor of this car go out of sight for me personally. I love it. So let's toss it on the rack, give it a look under. I don't know if anybody's familiar with these old cars, but like you get underneath one of these old 50s, 60s cars, like these things are old, but they are so cool. It's a beast of a car. Let's check her out. All right, we're underneath this thing. Super clean car, very tidy. Robbie has took a lot of time to clean underneath this car, paint. It just is really nice, but I think it is so cool, like being under this thing, because like guys, bro, this thing is old, 1959, like old. He got it, we were just talking, he got it in 99. It was already 40 years old then. That's old, bro. This car is old, but like all this stuff under here, it's just chilling. It's just been in here, just riding up and down the road since 1959. It don't care. Like he's got, so we're about to do, he's got a bunch of front end parts, rebuild stuff. It needs front suspension stuff. We don't know how old this stuff is. I only can assume half of the stuff is from 1959. It rolled off the dealership with this stuff. But here's the 5-speed, Fox body style T5. Very nice transmission. This right here makes it amazing. Hydraulic slave cylinder, full hydraulic setup. I highly recommend, if anybody's on the fence, you've been thinking about doing it to your Mustang, to your Fox body, to like, especially for like a track application, the hydraulic clutch setup is great. If you've ever driven a hydraulic clutch car, you know what I'm talking about. Cable clutches stink. This car's got a pretty heavy duty clutch in it, nothing crazy, and the pedal effort is just great. Disc brake setup on the front with some nice calipers, drilled rotors. That is a good upgrade that he did a while back to this car. Moving on back, it has the 410 and the spool that we built for him that I knew he wouldn't like has long gone. He's got a nice center section, 389 gear, limited slip like clutch type posi in it. Very nice for driving, very nice for cruising around. Still hooked both tires up, no problem. This right here, these mufflers, Black Widows, are amazing on this car. This thing sounds great. It's got full 3-inch exhaust with an X pipe, Black Widow mufflers, turned down behind the tire, really hot setup, really makes that Cleveland shine. It really does make it sound amazing. New fuel tank, like I said, this car, Robbie has really done a great job, like really going through this car. Nothing crazy. It is a show car. It's a super nice car, but it's not a show car. Like it's not so nice to where it's a little bit dusty. It's got some dirt on it now. It's like, okay, whatever, no big deal. To where if it was full-blown repaint job car, he'd be afraid to get out and drive it. But he takes it out, drives it, hits all the cruise-ins with it. He is religious about taking this thing to cruising the coast. They take this thing down to cruising the coast, hit the streets with it. He's been begging me to come for years. We're trying to work it out. Hopefully this year's the year. But yeah, it's a driver car. It's beautiful underneath. It's nice and clean. But I feel like the main reason it's nice and clean is kind of the same reason I do my stuff, is so when you work on it, it's not a piece of junk, stuff's not falling all over you, not like we're trying to impress anybody. This is the perfect driver quality car. Nice, clean, tidy vehicle. I love the way he does stuff. That's why we jive. It's a really neat car. I love it every time I'm under it, like I said before, every time I have it at the shop, it's just a real joy to work on it. So let's get this thing off the lift. There's a couple things he wants us to do to it while we got on the rack, and take it around the block. Transmission in this thing is like too freaking cool. It just doesn't, you don't quite equate in your head like this hot rod manual transmission, this big old floaty car. It's an awesome experience. So So what all's done to the Cleveland?
It's 30 over, a lot of head work.
It's got a good rotating assembly in it.
Yeah, it's got forged pistons and stuff like that in it. It's got a comp cam 284. Like you covered everything else, the headers.
Yeah,
high
nice
volume
intake manifold.
Yeah, air gap intake. We followed a build that I can't remember who it was that did it, and their build, which ours
Very
was
similar.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. We went a little bit overboard with ours. Theirs was like 450 something. So I imagine this one should be every bit of 450.
I was going to say this car probably puts a solid 400 horsepower to the tires.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of power.
It's a healthy engine.
It's a healthy engine.
One of my dad's buddies, he's the one that put it all together, named Barry Bruce, and man, he's a wizard.
Funny full circle story about Barry Bruce. Maddie buys a house a couple years ago over here downtown, our hometown, and it's literally, and Robbie's just talking, he's like, this guy, and I'm like, oh yeah, Maddie, by the way, Barry Bruce is your neighbor.
Yeah, he lives right next door.
Yeah, he lives right next door to Maddie. It's so cool, basically right down the street from Maddie. It's not like a Fox body with a big heavy cable clutch.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you put a stiff clutch in a Fox, it's like every red light, you're like, damn, I can't even stay on the clutch. Bro, check me out. 59 Edsel, manual trans, Cleveland power. Robbie let me cruise this thing. I haven't driven it since when we put the 5-speed in it. I'm pumped. I'm just non-consciously smiling just driving this car. It just really is, you've heard the term smiles to the gallon? Full up.
You didn't even open it up.
It's got some power. I can tell. It has got power on tap. And you really, this thing pulls this big car along effortlessly. You can just throw it through the gears. It really is impressive. The power of this engine is really nice. It is really good. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. That was super fun. I really appreciate Robbie letting us cruise this thing, review it. He's over here all the time. He lives kind of down the road from us. He's always here, so I'm always around it, but I really appreciate it. It was super fun. Appreciate letting him do the review on it. I love this car. I love just having our car community around us. It's like a whole thing for me. So we're going to end it off here. I hope you liked it. That's kind of my first car review video. I guess we'll call it a review video. We're just talking and BSing about a freaking hot rod. That's what we're doing. But anyways, appreciate the support. Like, subscribe, drop some comments what you like seeing. You like the car review stuff. Like I've told you several times, like there's no telling what we're going to get into. We kind of plan them out a little bit, the videos, but we just kind of do what we do. You kind of guys get the live action. So I got a video I want to do really bad, and they're both right behind Maddie. There's one kind of sneaking right here and one here. We're going to do a video on a couple cars that one of them you kind of know I own, one of them you don't even know I own. So anyways, once again, thanks, like, subscribe, comment, all the ways you support the channel. Actually, also, check out our Auxito link. I'm not sure, I keep forgetting to plug it at the end of the video, but check out our Auxito light bulb link, and we got a merch line now. So I think it's in the description now, Maddie, maybe? Yeah, check it out, link in the description. We got a whole merch site. Check it out. There's a bunch of cool stuff on there. See you guys on the next one.
You heard it right. We now have merch, ranging from tees, sweatshirts, stickers, and air fresheners, plus more. We even have youth sizes for your own rad kid. There's more designs to come, and stay tuned for a giveaway coming soon. Check it out in the link below in the description box. Thanks for watching.